They said, well, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, so this is not data that they've invented, pulled together on their own, it's government data. They said that the public school teachers earned $34.06 an hour in 2005, which is 36% more than the average white-collar worker and 11% more than the average professional, specialty, or technical worker. The fact is, they said, teachers are better paid than most other professionals. In Chicago, the average teacher pay is $39.99 an hour, which is 39% higher than the average white-collar worker in Chicago, and 12% higher than the hourly pay of professional technical staff in the area. And it's 30% higher than private school teachers in the area. So higher teacher pay is something that we've already got. You know, if any of you are familiar with Jack Rose's website, thechampion.org, you can find out actual teacher salaries for any school district in the state. And this study pretty much confirms what you see there. The issue is not so much how much money teachers get, but how they are deployed. And if you look at a report called Left Behind that was issued by the Civic Committee of the Commercial Club in Chicago about 3 years ago, they were concerned about giving more funds to the Chicago public schools because they said the problem is the schools and the principals are not in control of teacher assignment. I mean, the teachers, they said, are essentially unmanaged. Neither the administration nor the principals are in charge of teacher deployment. It's determined by what the teachers choose and the requirements of the teacher contract. So the teachers essentially choose the schools. Other things being equal, you're going to get paid the same anyway, you might as well pick a school that's easier to teach at. And since the more senior teachers have priority, they tend to teach at the schools where it's easier to teach. And the new teachers teach at the schools where no one wants to teach. You want the best teachers at the schools where they're needed. The way it's set up right now, you can't do that. So the question is, well, if more money, teacher qualifications, class size, student-teacher ratio, and all that stuff, if those things are not making a difference, what can we do? What does make a difference? What makes a good school? And the answer is, what makes a good school is the principal. A principal who is empowered to lead the school, to set the standards, and to make decisions on school staffing. Basically the hiring and firing of teachers. Casey Carter did a study for the Heritage Foundation a number of years ago where he interviewed principals at schools that performed at high levels despite having a predominantly poor and minority student body. And he observed that these schools had 7 common characteristics, which included parental support, regular students testing, tough standards, etc. But the most important characteristic of these successful schools was that the principals made the decisions about what happened in that school. And he said, this is Casey speaking, Casey Carter. He said, outstanding principals know that all children can excel academically regardless of race, income level, or family background. The problem is, how do we get principals to have that authority? What can we do to give them that authority? I mean, generally, central administrations don't want to give authority to principals. They like to run the school system. We put principals in charge by putting parents in charge. The one reform that can produce improvements in public schools in terms of improved graduation rates, improved academic achievement, lower costs, is the competition that you get by expanding school choice. Just as the competition for consumer goods in the private sector economy leads to the production of high-quality goods at reasonable cost, the same thing occurs in the K through 12 education sector, even without school choice. There's a group of researchers who studied competition even within the crippled competition that we have right now. And they found that even with very limited competition, those things occurred. Better graduation rates, lower costs, higher teacher pay, and so on. how do we get to a situation where we have more school choice? I just want to make a number of definitions. One is, public education is the education of the public. That education can be carried out in traditional public schools, in charter schools, in secular private schools, and in religious schools, depending on the options that legislators decide to make available to the people in the state.